live right here streaming of all places, right here on Facebook of all places. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I do appreciate it. And we also are live right now here in our studios on YouTube. That's right, guys. So we have quite a bit of interesting. Where'd that come from? Anyways, we have some pretty interesting information for you guys tonight for tonight's show. I do appreciate every single one of you guys joining me tonight. I appreciate it. So what you guys need to do right now, and it's very easy, please get on there right now and hit that like button. Make a comment down below regarding this topic tonight. And also, if you guys can, please hit that share button and share this video with all of your friends and your groups that you belong to. That way, this video can get out there and get taught for somebody else, because this information is very important. I think it's going to be very crucial for all of you to listen to this. So please share my videos, like the like button, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're on it right now. And I want to say hi to everybody that's watching on YouTube right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. If you guys remember at the top of this program, I was talking about the topic addiction. And that's what we're going to be doing right here, as I have it in its entirety right here. We're going to be talking about addiction and what the definition is and all that fun jazz, what we can do to try to fix this problem, to eliminate our revolving door in our prisons and jails to keep spinning. Because addiction, believe it or not, is the reason why half our prisons and jails are full. And that's true facts, guys. Good friend of mine, Sparky Lee's on here. Hey, Sparky, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. Please share this and subscribe to my channel and get your friends to do the same thing. Appreciate it. All right, I have a laundry list of individuals, or not individuals, I apologize, a laundry list of addictions on this list. I think some of you guys are going to be quite surprised of the information I have here. So with that said, let me get this background music turned off here. Apologize, guys. Or unorganized. That's what happens when you go live, guys. Hey, James, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. All right, here's the list of addictions that I want to name off, and some of you guys are going to be quite surprised and shocked of this information that I have here. So let's see here. The first thing on the list of these addictions, and I'm going to read them off, and there's quite a bit, so bear with me here. The first addiction that I want to talk about, bear with me here, guys. The first one is food. Hey, Joan, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. The first addiction on the list is food, and we all are addicted to it somehow, some way. Even it's considered an eating disorder, and it's a disorder, so it's mental. We're going to be talking, about the mental statuses of these addictions too, if the time lets me. The next one on the list is, believe it or not, and this one's a gray area, and this one I get into big debates and whatnot with this one, and this one's sex. Yep, you said it. I said it. The word sex is considered an addiction. Same thing right below that, which ties into it. Pornography. Yes. It's basically attending and viewing. Those are the things that are on the list. And the reason why pornography is so addicting to a lot of us men out here is because we are visual. All right. We're just wired differently. Women are wired differently than the men. So we see it from a visual standpoint than really anything else. And I'm not going to get into the major detail on that, but believe it or not, it is an addiction. Sparkly said, hey, brother. Hey, how you doing? Joan says, can't see me. I wonder why you can't see me. Joan, if you're having a problem on Facebook, another recommendation I have for you real quick, please go to YouTube if you can and watch me there. I don't know if you are even subscribed to my channel on YouTube or not, but I'm on live on YouTube too if you're having problems on Facebook itself. That's why I did 2 streams. All right, guys. So the next thing down the list, believe it or not, using the computers / the internet. Yes, believe it or not, internet, computers, tablets, cell phones, we're all addicted to those in some way, form, or fashion. And that's part of the addiction list. Right below that, playing video games. I'm guilty of it. I've been there, done that on numerous occasions. I've played video games, from time to time and all that fun jazz. So that can be addicting if if you don't get control of it. The next thing down the list is working. Yeah, you heard me right, guys. Working. For whatever reason, we consider that what we call workaholics. That's right, workaholics. All right. The next one down the list, exercising. We all can get into a big thing with that. People do it every day just because they like the way it feels and all that fun jazz. All right. Next down the list, guys, is spiritual obsession. Yeah, that's it. That's even an addiction. It can turn into one, according to this list. The next one down the list on this, guys, believe it or not, pain. For some reason, pain can turn into an addiction to a lot of us. And right below that one, cutting. Now, you guys have all probably seen or heard of that, where somebody wants to cut themselves because they enjoy the way it feels. Again, all these addictions I just read off to you guys is considered mental, and we're going to get into that, hopefully, about the mental standpoint of it and what causes it, whatnot, here tonight, if time is letting it happen. So bear with me, guys, all right? So I gave you a list of those. There's another list. I got to find it. I thought I had was a... bear with me, guys. I apologize. This is what happens when you go live. All right. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about this topic in its entirety, please put your comment in the comment section on Facebook, or if you're watching on live YouTube right now, put your comment in there too as well. Then I'll get back to you on it. All right. Because it helps me out a lot, believe it or not. All right. Let's see here. I know I have another list of it. Where'd my list go? Well, I was going to have another list that was alcohol. Alcoholism is a drug. My good friend Joan just said not all of us are addicted. No, I know that. I know that. It's basically done on impulse. According to this document, I have what is addiction definition. And I'm going to give you that right here. Thank you, Joan, for your comment. In any event, it says here, the terms addiction describes a compulsive act which causes harm to persons or those around them, and over which the person no longer has control. See, it's about control. An example of this is a person who constantly drinks to excess in spite of the fact that it is hurting his family and career. So alcoholism, that's a major one. That was on that list, and I can't seem to find it now. Of alcoholism is a major disease plus addiction. My father was an alcoholic, so you guys can, some of you probably out there can relate to that. So I have, who else do I have in here? There's 4 people watching. Thank you, guys. And there's 1 person watching live on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So it goes on saying this. An addict may even deny there is a problem. See, even if you are addicted to whatever it may be, these people deny that they even have a problem. So until they can, realize that they have a problem, nothing can really get fixed on that aspect alone. All right, guys. So, and it goes on saying this. The definition of an addiction has historically been applied to substance such as alcohol. Told you that was one of the lists. Let's see, where was I at here? The definition of addiction is, oh God, where'd my line go? Sorry, guys. Anyways, addiction is a primary chronic disease. So it's a chronic disease, guys, of the brain, reward, motivation, memory, and related certainty. This is reflected in the individual pursuing reward and or relief by substance use and other behaviors. The addiction is characterized by impatient and in behavioral control, craving, ability to let's see, what's that word? Considerably abstain and diminished recognition of specific problems with one's behaviors and relationships. Do you guys understand what I'm getting at so far? Tony, thank you so much for you getting in here. You asked for permission. All right, bear with me. Let's see what we got going on here. Oops. All right. I gotta get this thing figured out what's going on here. All right. I'm adding Tony. Tony wants to get in my live. I appreciate you, Tony. Can you see or hear me okay? Guys on YouTube, bear with me, guys. I'm doing my best I can here. All right. Anyways, according to the addiction definition, a person can be addicted to any substance, legal or illegal, as well as any behavior the addict finds pleasurable. You guys understand? You're welcome, Tony. And it says addiction is considered a mental illness, which was I was correct. This is all mental. And can be treated simply to other mental illnesses with therapy, medication, and lifestyle changes. So we can fix these problems and get our jails and our prisons more empty if we just, instead of sending them jail and sending them to prison, we can fix it out here instead of in there. I don't believe a lot of these drug addicts and everything of that nature can, be punished in prison. And Joan just got on here, says, you keep going off, so I can't see you. Well, I'm sorry, Joan. Maybe it's the internet here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I knew my connection was going to be a problem. So I apologize on that, guys. All right, it says here, substance abuse is defined as any of the following over a 12-month period. All right, can you guys understand what I'm saying here? All right. Dysfunction in work, school, or home because of substance abuse. Repeated use of substance is in dangerous situations, substance-related legal problems, personal problems as a result of substance abuse. Lane Paulson, thank you for letting me know that. I'll get back to you on a more personal note and update you what's going on with him. Nothing bad's going on in there with him, but or her, I should say, excuse me. He's out of the hole, Lane, and he's in his unit now. All right, he's doing good. So I'm just reading off little bits in here of what this information is. So again, there's a lot here to read. I hope I have enough time to do this, guys. All right, get your chat in here. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. This definition of abuse can be applied to behaviors as well as substance, drug abuse, or abuse of behavior describes use that harms the self or others. Addiction is not the same as abuse. However, more than just use of drug or behavior, the definition of addiction is characterized by physiological changes and changes to the behaviors in a daily life, such as, and here they are, cravings, compulsivity, inability to stop, relapse, fixation on addiction, loss of control over addiction, consulting addiction in spite of negative and consequences. So see, there's impulse control disorders and addiction. See that there's so much here, guys, and I hope you guys understand what I'm getting at, because if we don't get to the root of the problem here, we're going to continue to see our prisons and jails full. All right. And that revolving door, as I say constantly, is going to continue to spin and spin and spin until we can get control of this problem. I don't believe anybody has an addiction should be sent to jail or prison. That's my personal opinion. What's your thought on that? Put your comment down below and we'll go from there. Impulse control disorders and addiction. All right. And there's 6 of you in Facebook watching, and there's one of you, I believe one of you. Yep, one of you on YouTube watching. Thanks, guys. Impulse control disorders and addiction. While some doctors now believe behavior addictions can include a wide range of behaviors, such as playing video games, exercising compulsively, there are several behaviors that have specifically been identified in the DSM-IV-TR. These behavior disorders are called impulse control disorders. See? Disorders. What's a disorder? It's mental. All right. Hope that makes sense, guys. However, their diagnosis tends to minor and addiction definition. Impulse control disorders include compulsive to steal, compulsion to set fires is another one. Joan said, check the DSM-5 for the exact course of diagnosis for addiction. Absolutely, Joan. Thank you so much for that information. I appreciate it. So people like for example, it's called a firebug. It's an addiction. It's a mental thing. People like fires, starting fires. Gambling is another one. People can't stop gambling. They think they're going to win big, so they keep going back and back and back. And I've seen it destroy loved ones' relationships. Divorces happen. They lose their house. They lose their car. That's how bad these things can be because it's all up here. They can't control it. They can't stop it. They're addicted. That's the whole point of this program tonight, guys. And there's help for these people that have that addiction. So there's that. All right, guys. I'm going through this pretty fast. So here are the symptoms. Addiction symptoms, signs of an addiction. So what are the signs? Do a lot of you know what those are? The signs says right here. The difficulty in looking for an addiction symptoms is that for a time, the behavior of an addict, is often seen as normal. See, addicts think that what they're doing is considered normal. All right, but there's nothing normal about it. You guys know this. All right. Someone who is addicted to drugs, and there's so many of them out there. All right. Opioids, over-the-counter drugs, prescriptions, meth. Some of the hardcore people get addicted to cough syrup, believe it or not, and that's you can buy that in the store. There's morphine, meth, all the hardcore drugs people can get addicted on, and of course, there's other ones being invented. There's always new ones around the corner, and when they get their first taste of whatever it's called, they get addicted. They get hooked, and they want more and more and more, and it ruins their life. It causes death in some occasions. So we got a lot of issues with it. All right, guys. So someone who is addicted to drugs may simply be seen as partying more. They like to party. A person who is addicted to gambling may just be seen as blowing off some steam, which is negative. Joan just said to coffee and soda, pop. Yep, those are all addictions because of the caffeine inside of the coffee and the soda. Sparky is watching. Sparky, I see you again. Sorry, I'm having, like I said before, I'm having internet connection. So I'm waving at you. Thank you, Sparky, for joining. So again, those are forms of addiction. People have caffeine issues. Yeah. So in any event, so going on here, the first major sign of an addiction or abuse is the effect the addiction has on day-to-day life. All right. So that's what we're dealing with. It's on a day-to-day life. Every day you wake up, you got something going on. All right. The difference between simply using a drug / behavior and abusing or being addicted to the drug / behavior is that addiction causes noticeable problems in the addict's life. One of the big one is denial. Yeah, believe it or not, it's denial. Joan said sugar. Thank you, Joan. You're absolutely right. Sugar. Steve, what's going on, Steve? Hope you're doing good and hope you're better. I hope my prayers were answered for your healing. I'm glad you're doing better. I hope you are anyways. And thank God you didn't have some major issues with that COVID. So thanks, Steve, for joining me. I appreciate it. I'll wave at you real quick. In any event, so you can see that the addicts got to admit that they got a problem. That fixes that problem. Then they got to stop being in denial. That's the other problem. And then they got to, man up or whatever the case may be and go out and get the help. Don't deny the help. Go out and get help. And that's where we're at with that. All right. The difference between simply using a drug / behavior and abusing or being addicted to the drug / behavior is the addiction causes noticeable problems in the addict's life. A person who only gambles once a month may have to cut out laters to make up for gambling losses. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen what the effect does on that. Joan said your picture is frozen. I'm sorry, guys. Get on YouTube if you can't watch it on Facebook. Again, I can't stress that enough. I don't think I'm having any problems on YouTube. So go watch it on YouTube real quick, guys. All right. So it says here, where did I do that? Jesus, I'm so unorganized. All right. So back on the back what I was saying. Gambling losses, but one of the signs of an addict might be charging every credit card to the maximum with no way of paying the money back. So see, that's what I'm talking about, guys. All right. It takes what is it? It takes accountability to know that you have an addiction. All right. It takes responsibility, and it takes whatever else you want to call it to know and stop being in denial that you have one. That's where we're at. Nothing can get fixed. The exclusion of all else, this person is likely an addict. And it's very, very easy to become one. Here in my location where I live at, believe it or not, you just go down the street and every block you see a fast food joint. McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, all pizza joints. You know, it's so easy to get hooked and addicted to whatever it may be out here. And the, you know, those big restaurants, they know what they're doing. Reason why it sells, because they know you're addicted. All right. Back on track here real quick. Again, right below this conversation I'm having here, it says addictive behaviors, one of the symptoms of addiction. Just one of the symptoms. All right, guys. Sparky said, sorry, I had a call. Sparky also said, we are the source. Thank you, Sparky. Absolutely. Illness versus symptom. Yes. And if we don't address it, we can't fix it. Right, Sparky? Thanks. Addictive behaviors, one symptom of addiction. Most addicts go through a period where they deny their addiction symptoms. It is often up to those around them to spot the addiction signs early and try to persuade the addict to get help. And I agree with that. Another way of combating addiction is to majorly have a awesome, big support group. Not just one person can do this. A big array of people that you can trust and whatnot need to be there to support this addict so he can get the proper help and all of that. All right. That's where we're at with that. All right. Got 2 people now watching on YouTube. Thanks, guys. And got 2 people watching on Facebook. So anyways, goes on saying this. Addictive behaviors can often be seen as obsessions or compulsions. For example, while many people enjoy a cocktail on a Friday after work, most people wouldn't mind if they skipped a Friday or two. Someone with addictive behaviors, though, will feel compelled to get a drink no matter what. Say there's just your common drinking, and then there's just binge drinking. You drink and drink and drink to a point where you can't stop, and you get so drunk that you end up causing harm to yourself or others. It's all about your mindset, where your mindset's at. It's anything. Like, for example, smoking cigarettes. Believe it or not, guys, I used to be a smoker. All right. Sparky said, an addict circle feeds them. Absolutely. And if they're the wrong crowd, it helps them too. You know, peer pressure is another one. So we got to get rid of all the negative influences to help this person, or he's going to fail and get right back into whatever he's addicted to. Thank you, Sparky. Much appreciated. So it just goes on and on and on with the amount of information. Again, if you guys want this information yourself, you can go on Google and look it up, but I'm just giving you guys an outlook of what causes this and all that fun jazz. All right. So moving on, addiction, symptoms, and signs. Every addict has a sign that they have an addiction. Here's that list right here, guys. Pay attention. Hope you guys can hear me okay. In addition to addictive behaviors, addiction symptoms can run deeper. Signs of addiction also exist within the addict themselves. Some of these addiction symptoms will be visible to others, while some may be only apparent to the addict. So some can be visible and some are hidden. All right. Sparky says we meet them where they're at, not where we expect them to be. Absolutely. Thank you, Sparky. You're absolutely right. So here's the addiction symptoms and signs that include cravings. So when you have it's on the list, craving, compulsive, fixation on addiction, loss of control over addiction. Yeah. Feeling a need to engage in the addiction more and more. Low self-esteem. So basically they're constantly beating themselves up. They just are depressed. They just, to a certain extent, don't care. Depressed. So low self-esteem. Feeling a loss of control. So they feel like they're a loser. A history of abuse. So there could be even a history of it, like family history. Depression or another mental illness. You see what I'm getting at, guys? So there's the list of those. And Sparky gone here. You're doing a great job, brother. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So again, Sparky, if you can, I don't know if you did already, but please share these videos and get them out there. Appreciate it. So there's a list of just a few on the signs of this person having an addiction. So there's that. So adult symptoms of mental health disorders. I felt compelled to get involved with this one for a couple of reasons. Because believe it or not, everything I just read off to you guys tonight is a form of a mental health disorder. Yeah, I know. Sounds crazy. So just bear with me. I'm going to read this off. This is a list of mental health disorders. It says here, the list of mental illnesses and intended for use by adults only. It is not meant to replace a doctor's or licensed mental health professionals. Diagnosis, advice, and care. Please keep in mind that just because a person exhibits certain symptoms of a disorder, it does not necessarily mean the individual is affected with the disorder. Okay? They got to get checked. They got to get checked out professionally. All right? That's where we're at with that. So it goes on here. It may be confusing, but certain symptoms can be associated with any number of disorders. Only a trained doctor or licensed mental health professional can make that diagnosis or assessment. If you have any questions regarding your mental health issues, please find yourself a doctor that deals with that topic or that subject or that problem. All right. So here's the list of the mental health disorders. Description, symptoms, and causes. Adjustment disorder. Adjustment disorder symptoms and their effects. Adjustment disorder in children. So even children can have this, believe it or not. Symptoms, effects, treatment. ADHD/ADD. I know, right? ADHD, symptoms, signs. And these are all basically things that are going on in this world today. I think a lot of you already know that. So it just goes on. The list is, yeah. So there's all that. So guys, I had the list. I got to find that list real quick so I can tell you what's all on it. There was a lot of information there. Alcoholism was the number one on the list of having an addiction. And that's real talk. So for whatever the reason or fact is, all right, the only way we can get rid of these problems or these addictions is that we got to make sure that, first off, we got to diagnose what the problem is. All right. And we have professionals in that field that can do that. All right. But we can't get them even out of the house and to the doctor's office until the addict realizes he has a problem. That's where it stems at. That's where it starts right there. So you got to sit down with your loved one and basically it's just, hey, I noticed that you might have a problem. I know you might or might not be in denial of it, but I would like to, due to the fact that I love you, I want you to go with me to the doctor's office and get some help. Now, I know that sounds kind of vague because that's not as easy as it sounds. A lot of people will fight you tooth and nail and say, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. That's the denial. Until they can realize they have one, there ain't going to be no help. That's real talk, guys. I hope that makes sense. All right. So anyways, there's two people now watching on live Facebook. It looks like there might be a connection issue with Facebook, so I apologize. So I'm just going to carry on with this show. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns regarding this show tonight, please put your comment down below, and we can go from there. Got one person on here watching. But anyways, so we got to get the denial out of the way. We got to make sure they can, accept the fact that they got a problem. And once that's done, once the denial's gone, they can head to wherever they're going to go and go get help. You can't help somebody if they do not want the help. There's an old saying for that. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's the same thing with us. We can point out all the, the do's and don'ts and the positives and even sometimes the negatives, but you can't get somebody, the help. So the only other answer is jail or prison. And I hate to admit that. I hate to say that. But addicts don't belong in jail or prison. And that's where I'm at with that. That's my personal opinion. What's your take on that? Joan just said that will go over like a lead balloon. Yeah, you're right, Joan. Because again, it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. So I want you guys to get in here and chime in here with me tonight with this live feed on both YouTube and Facebook. And I want you to tell me, if anything at all, some of you, I will tell you my story if you want to hear it, about your addictions and what are you guys doing to, combat it, try to stop it, try to fix it, and go from there. Put your short little story or comment in here and see if we can fix or look at the problem. Because again, guys, you have to understand something. You got to make sure, like I said, you got to know if you have an addiction or not. Once that's addressed, everything else should come easy for the person who's got an addict problem. All right. So I'm going to tell you my short story real quick. I used to be a cigarette smoker. All right. Now, a lot of you are like, oh, that's nothing. Well, believe it or not, the story goes, nicotine itself can be very addictive. And if you're not strong-minded enough, you'll never quit. But I'm walking, talking proof, ladies and gentlemen, that I can quit. I quit cold turkey, and I haven't been smoking for years now. So I've been smoke-free for years now. And I know that's kind of minute, if you will, when it comes to this topic here. But I'm just, walking, talking proof of this, that I can get my addiction taken care of. All right. I just thank God every single day that I don't have some serious drug issues, gambling issues, and stuff of that nature. I'm glad I don't. But I do feel bad for the ones that do. And, instead of sending these individuals to prison and jails, why don't we send them to places where they can get the problem addressed and fixed? That way it keeps our prisons and our jails less full and more empty. But if you guys remember right, our system's not very quote unquote fair. And what I mean by that, an empty bed in a prison setting or jail setting is no money for them. Jails and prisons is a multi-million-dollar business. All right. And you have to understand, Gene, how you doing? Thank you. I waved at you, Gene. Anthony, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. You have to understand that our system just likes to send these people in jail or prison because that they think that's going to fix the problem. But check this out. Once they get released and has no idea how to survive out here after prison sentence, what do you think is going to happen? Absolutely. If you guys are sitting there saying, well, they're going to reoffend, they're going to get back on the drug that they just got busted for. That absolutely, because they didn't get the help or the proper help in our jails and our prisons. So it's a revolving door, is what I was saying. Revolving door. It never stops. All right. Because our system, for some odd reason, can't keep up with our science, or our science can't keep up with the system. It's one of the two. Regardless, one needs to catch up with the other, and we need to address these problems and stop sending these people to our prisons and jails. Addicts have no business in there. And that's my personal, I mean, we got marijuana beefs in there. People are doing some lengthy time for marijuana beefs. Really? Marijuana beefs? It's a scientific proven that marijuana is not even really a harmful drug. Joan just said, you can lead a horse to water, but before you do remember what a wet horse smells like. Good point. Absolutely, Joan. Thank you. You brought a smile to my face on that one. Thank you. Absolutely. But we have, all right. So I'm trying to advocate as much as I can in ways to stop sending these drug offenders to prison and jails. They have no business in there at all. So we need to try to figure out how to stop that and reform we need prison reform, we need jail reform, we need government reform. Every kind of reform you can think of across the board, we need, including drug reform, because like I said, we're not going to get the problem, fixed until we realize what we got in front of us. All right. Does any of you guys right now that are watching at 7:05 right now, I got a half hour to talk to you guys about this. Does anybody in here have anything that you want to talk about or have to say for me, or have any questions for me? Please put it in the chat box below. This is a pretty big thing. And, we have to, there might be a part 2 on this. I don't know. It depends on how this works out. But we need all the help we can get to get these people fixed. Joan just said there are addiction programs in most prisons. I know they are. And you're correct. You're right. But do they really work? Do they help? Because I've seen some cases, Joan, and I think you might be aware of this. There are some cases where they do the programs, they get back out after doing or completing their programs in prison, and they still reoffend. So is it really the programs, or is it the individual's mindset? Because believe it or not, it still happens, even though there's programs in there and they're supposed to do what the program says or get the help in there. Do they really work? Is the bigger question here. Do those programs really work? So like I said, I used to be inside the prison walls. I know what I'm talking about here when it comes to programs. Some of those programs are a joke, waste of taxpayers' money. I've been in some of those programs, guys, and man, oh man, you go in there and you listen to the teacher or whoever it is, and it can put you to sleep on some occasions. They just don't have the ambition, the knowledge. I don't know where these people come from. They just don't really have the oomph to get this class excited and work on change. They don't know what they're doing half the time in there, and it's actually quite sad. So again, I'm witness to some of those programs, especially when it comes to school or education in there. Depending on what program you want to talk about, we have a lot of issues in there that deal with those programs being negative. All right. Some are good, some are bad. All right. And I don't know much about the drug programs. I can't speak on them because I didn't do drug programs in there. But from what I've heard from other individuals and whatnot, they're not 100% good. All right. So thank you, Joan, for your comment. I appreciate it. So guys, it's 7:08 here in my studio here from Inside Out. If you guys want to see or watch more of these videos, please subscribe to this channel right here, right now on YouTube. Make sure you hit that notification bell And that way you guys will get notified every time I go live or upload a new video right here in our studios from Inside Out. And I bring topics to the table such as this and other prison related issues, including inmate issues, with our on this show. All right. So if you guys have a show idea, a comment, whatever it may be, please join right now and put your comment down below and let me know what you think. I'm an open book. I want to hear your guys' ideas. I want to hear your guys' concerns, all that fun jazz. All right. Jones said they are a 12-step program. Yes, and they even have those out here. But again, the bigger question is, do those 12-step programs really work? Are they successful or are they not successful? That's the question. You know, is it the addicts' problem they can't pass the program, or is it the program itself? So, those are good questions. All right. Does anybody else in here know the answer to those questions I just asked? All right. Joan got back on here, says when the addict bottoms out, then the programs work. Right. You're absolutely right, Joan. But there's been, there's been cases where the programs have failed too, in some cases. All right. So it's 7:10 here in our studios from Inside Out. I don't really have a lot other information. I was pretty scattered tonight. I'm working on getting better, guys, so bear with me on that. So I might do a part 2 on this. I don't know yet when it comes to addiction itself. We'll have to see. Like I said, there's a lot more that goes into this. It's very deep. A lot of details, if you will, a lot of data with the word addiction. All right. So, Joan, do you have any more comments, Joan? I apologize for my internet connection here. I have no control of that. There's 2 people watching on YouTube right now. Is anybody else on here that want to get in the chat box? Please do. And let me know what you think about the tonight's program. If you guys don't have any more information or comments or anything of that, I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. Doesn't look like no one's reacting to YouTube. Quite sad, actually. In any event, thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate it. If you guys want questions, please ask them later on tonight. If you want to get a hold of me on a more personal note, you can do it on Facebook, on the Messenger, or you can email me at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, my email, folks, is voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. All right. And that's all one word, by the way. And I can send you the links to all my other platforms I belong to, or anything else that you're requesting. I'll do my best to share it with you guys. All right. I think we're going to head back out of here. This has been a pretty good intro show. So with that said, I'm your host, Jay. I'll see you guys in the next live video, and I'll see you guys right here back live on Facebook. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night. Peace.